Rich DiGiovanna here with the DiGiovanna Realty Group and RE/MAX Allegiance in Northern Virginia. This video will cover some of the most common questions our homeowners have regarding radon in the home. We'll be speaking with a radon inspection specialist to give us insight and hopefully provide much needed answers to keep you safe and informed.
Hi guys, I've got John here from ARS, American Radon, what is that?
Services of Virginia.
And tell me a little about your company.
So we've been in business for about 8 years. We perform radon testing and radon mitigation systems. We're out of Fredericksburg. We cover about a 60-mile radius from Fredericksburg, typically up to about the Aldi area and mostly Springfield and Fairfax, and a little bit of Woodbridge and Manassas area.
Great, so John's going to help us explain what radon is while he's looking for a great place in one of my clients' houses here in Northern Virginia, where we did a radon test about 2 weeks ago. Tell me a little about when you have to abate.
So the EPA likes to see, first of all, radon is not required. It's heavily recommended because it is a Class A carcinogen, and in most cases, when the buyer comes in and does a radon test and the levels are reported over 4.0 picocuries per liter, typically they ask for a remediation system to be put in, and the remediation system basically removes all the air from underneath of the slab and vents it out of the house. And in that air is humidity, condensation, stinky soil gas smell, and radon. So radon system costs you about $65 a year in electrical. It's also a great utility for the home because it provides good air quality, and it removes that humidity, so you have a nice dry basement, and it keeps it smelling nice and fresh as well. So what we have here with Rich is we have an unfinished area. Ideally, an unfinished area is where we like to be because you can box it in and finish it out later. Sometimes when basements are completely finished, or if you have a center-based utility room, the radon system has to go in a finished space, and that means where the radon pipe is visible against the finished wall. Sometimes we can put them from an unfinished area into a garage and out a garage roof. In a home like this, one of my concerns that I have starting with is, you see we have a multi-level slab right here. Sometimes this is wood, but I'm 100% certain that this is an additional concrete level. We don't know how the house is built, so there's possibility there's a support footer in here, or it could be a turn down footer. So there's a possibility that we are only remediating one half of the basement. And worst case, if the post-mitigation test doesn't bring us below 4.0, worst case, we would probably have to put a finished space system on the back corner of the house. But in a lot of cases, if the initial values were between 6 and 7, based on the square footage of the unfinished area and the square footage of the finished area, it's about half and half. So we're hoping that this particular radon system will remediate half the levels and bring us below 4. The EPA says anything under 4 is good. It's pretty safe in my opinion. We're going to get started here, and we'll check back in with you.
This is what the outside looks like. The fan is actually running right now. The electric is hooked up, and now it's just time to install the discharge pipe up through the top of the roof.
So what we'll try to do is, we know there's probably a band board right here because of this, and since this house maybe in a couple places may not have some OSB or plywood behind it, we want to try to get the pipe as secure as possible. The radon code says we need to strap the pipe every 6 to 10 feet. So all my systems typically are going to have a minimum of 3 to 4 clamps, but it's never blown off the house. We use 2.5 to 3 inch screws. So we're going to put a strap right here, leave it loose. We're going to measure our pipe where the discharge pipe goes, a minimum of 12 inches above the roof's edge. The code says 6 inches, but in certain states that are known for heavy snow, it's supposed to be 12. In most cases, we go anywhere from 12 to 18 inches. In Virginia, we can get a lot of snow on our roofs, and what we want to avoid is the snow clogging the discharge pipe and forcing that radon back into the house. Okay, so here we are. We're finishing up on the outside of the house. We just finished up on the inside. So we tucked it in pretty tightly here to the corner. We've got it attached to the house in 3 places. We were able to put some adhesive behind some of the pipe and some of the clamps because there was no meat back there for the screws to grab. Again, we use the same polyurethane adhesive that doesn't dry, crack, or split. Luckily, in this case, the adhesive matched the house, and in most cases, we're pretty flexible. We can custom match the downspout to the house to meet any HOA requirements, or any homeowners that don't want the system with the white pipe. There's still a variety of colored downspout that's available today, although a lot of that is going away and they're breaking down to about five basic colors. But here we've got the discharge pipe, a minimum of 12 inches above the roof's edge. We have a debris screen on that. As you'll see from Rich pointing the camera up there, the electrical's in the liquid tight conduit, and it's, you know.
Quick question for you. Can that pipe be painted?
That pipe can be painted. It's a PVC pipe. We recommend wiping it down with an acetone, and in most cases, a latex pipe, or not a latex paint, or spray paint. Most painting contractors are pretty well versed in it. You can paint the couplings, you can paint the fan. Really, no sanding as long as you wipe it down with a good acetone and create a good sub base for it. It takes the paint. Okay, so here we are checking out the system. We've got it all in. We did a little extra plumbing up top to get it over and down. Per code, we've got our system attached to the wall. Some people will just bring the pipe in and just let it dangle. Code says it needs to be secured to the wall, so we got it anchored to the wall. Like I said, we came out about 9 inches from the finished wall there. We dug the hole. You saw the gravel we took out. We sealed up around the suction pipe with a piece of backer rod and some polyurethane adhesive, which doesn't dry, crack, or split. It remains pliable. One of the things that happens is if your contractor uses a cheap grade caulking, it's going to dry up and it's going to shrink, and then all of a sudden you're going to have these pinhole air leaks, and you're going to reduce the efficiency of the system, and you're going to start pulling down conditioned air. One of the big things with the radon system is you want to focus the majority of the suction on the air below the slab, which is why it's always good to seal up all the cracks around there, because we don't want to pull conditioned air down and incur any type of energy penalties for pulling down our heating and cooling. So this is our service switch. We typically like to, when possible, put the service switch inside next to the manometer there. This way, when it's raining and snowing and the nor'easters come through, if your radon fan goes out, you can simply come down in your pajamas and turn the fan off. You don't have to walk outside and get rainy, or have your fan in worry of making noise all night long. So as you can see, we turn the switch off and the manometer has equalized at 0. So when you come down here and perform a visual inspection on a regular basis, if you look over here, you'll see that the levels are at 0. So to me, that says we need to inspect what's going on. So our system is always labeled with orange stickers. So for service purposes, when the homeowner calls me, first thing I'll say is usually there's 2 or 3 orange stickers. First one, make sure the service switch is turned on. Secondly, we ask you to come to the breaker, whatever breaker it's been tied into by whoever is labeled. So if the breaker's on and this is good, sometimes it's tied into a GFCI and the GFCI trips and you have to reset it. So we'll turn the system on, close the electrical panel up. You'll see the pressure start to rise. This system is pulling probably, I wrote 0.8 and then my glasses, but it's probably 0.7, 0.8, which translates into about 130 to maybe 130 to 140 CFM worth of air. So we're pulling a pretty good clip of air pretty quickly. This is
typically, what's your typical time frame on an install?
Normally, the average is about an hour and a half, sometimes hour and 20. Depending on how fast we can get it done.
I was just curious, you caulk that area there. What's the reasoning for that?
So we caulk around where we're going to penetrate, so when the vacuum pulls, it's not like slipping up through here, and it's not coming in from the outside, and it's getting everything from the slab.
If you stayed till the end of this video, I hope you found it very helpful. Radon is an important topic if you're a homeowner. Check the details in the description box for contact information for American Radon Services. And if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Until next time.